December 6 will change the political destiny of the regions and have become the cornerstone of development in the different regions. The CPDM party sanctions and set twisted lines straight ahead of the regional elections, which the party hopes to grasp in most areas. Plus, creating a job in Cameroon can be a hard nut to crack without sufficient finances. But PRC and other organizations are making life better for entrepreneurs, and you'll hear some of them in this newscast. Good evening from Studio 5 of the CRTV Production Center in Balatu, Yaoundé. I am Benin Bumagana. Welcome to the 7:30 News.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
The regional council elections convened for December 6, 2020 will not only complete the decentralization process in Cameroon, it will also give shape to the special status granted to the Northwest and Southwest regions. CRTV's Ebenezer Akanga says the election become the cornerstone for regional development.
One of the key recommendations of the major national dialogue was the granting of a special status to the Northwest and Southwest regions. The head of state committed himself to implement the recommendation immediately. But many were asking what form the special status will take and what would be its content. Things started getting clear when on the 24th of December 2019, the President of the Republic enacted into law the General Code on Regional and Local Authorities. Now, the regional council elections, which have been convened for December 6, 2020, will enable the population of the Northwest and Southwest regions to start seeing the special status in concrete terms.
It permits the transformation of a judicial act into concrete realization by putting the organs that were defined in the code on the ground.
Above all, the elections will pave the way for regions to become masters of their own development.
Firstly, the obligation for the state to consult these two assemblies in drafting government policy on matters of Anglo-Saxon education. Secondly, they have been given the powers to create development authorities like we have Soweda here in the Southwest and Mideno up there in the Northwest.
The regional council elections will mark a turning point in the history of Cameroon, so they deserve to be taken seriously.
The North Regional Delegation of Elections, Cameroon Elecam, is finalizing preparations for the regional elections of December 6, 2020. According to the North Regional Delegate of Elecam, Hamadou Sadio, the regional staff are updating the list of the electoral colleges, as we hear in this report by Wilson Mengole.
Provisional list from the North Regional Office of Elections Cameroon show that 693 councillors and 1,696 traditional rulers will vote this December in the 4 divisions of the region.
We are preparing ourselves to this election more than 1 year. We have the provisional list, and now all the branch councillors, with the collaboration of the mayors, they are correcting the list.
The election management body in the region equally affirms that they are constantly getting updates on the compilation of files by different political parties and candidates.
Those who are concerned are very few, so we can manage them very well.
The hope of Elecam Nord is that all actors involved will work for the success of the election.
Now, following the presidential decree convening electoral colleges for the election of regional councillors on December 6, 2020, Mokum Robert Achu visited the East Regional Elecam office to see the level of preparation ahead of the event. His report.
A 3-day seminar is taking place at the East Regional Elecam office, bringing together its officials from all the 4 divisions of the region to, among other issues, be sensitized on the aspects to lay emphasis on for the success of the first ever elections of regional councillors. We have a mission from the General Directorate to ensure that information concerning the 2 colleges is up to date, and if there are any errors, we correct them rapidly. Since Elecam is just from being involved in recent elections, it will not be difficult to handle the December 6 elections. We still have materials in antennas and in agencies. All we need is electoral material. We think we will have no problem. Elecam officials in the East region are determined to let it take place hitch-free.
Over in the Senegal Maritime Division, traditional authorities have started working together for a better representation within the regional council. Heads of first, second and third class chiefdoms in the division have met to come out with the criteria for choosing the best regional advisors. Larry Efanda tells us more.
To establish a regional council able to defend the interests of the community and entrust it with a consensual and realistic local development plan. This is the dual objective this get-together here in Sombenge this September 12 is meant for. 418 chiefdoms, that is 24 paramount chiefdoms, for 5 places to represent traditional rulers in the regional council.
Le chef doit être accepté.
The chief has to be accepted in the community in order to defend issues at the council.
Les produits de la récolte.
Also in their worries is the problems to be solved within the division, that is the selling off and abusive exploitation of the community's lands and forests.
Nos problèmes les plus importants.
Our main worries are issues which are linked to our enclavements, deforestation, illegal exploitation of our forests. The continuation of the consensus will be led by His Majesty Ndong Chombe, the lone first-class chief appointed the head of the list.
We're sorry for the sound quality of that report. This time, the Monument of Martyrs has been inaugurated in Ekite, a village in the Edeya-2 subdivision. The edifice, erected in honor of heroes who fought for independence, was inaugurated this afternoon in the presence of the Secretary General of the Central Committee of the CPDM, representing President Paul Biya. Veronica Benyala reports.
During the joint municipal and parliamentary elections of February 9, 2020, some CPDM supporters put up acts of indiscipline by flouting party discipline. So 78 of them, accused of indiscipline during the elections, were summoned before the ad hoc disciplinary committee of the CPDM to answer charges brought against them. Some of them were slammed sanctions ranging from temporary suspension from the party, warning, and outright dismissal.
As far as the party is concerned, they cannot be candidates of the party while they are under sanctions. But if they want to take part as non-militants or as independent candidates, they are free to do so.
Through the sanctions, the CPDM is sending a strong message to its supporters that it is not a party of disorder and lawlessness.
The intention of the sanctions and the work of the disciplinary committee is to ensure that militants of the party remind themselves at all times that discipline in the CPDM is an engagement, is a commitment.
Those who put up acts of indiscipline in the forthcoming regional council elections will certainly be punished equally. To be forewarned is to be forearmed.
A little mix-up there. That was Rada Ebenezer Akanga telling us that members of the CPDM who have been sanctioned by the ad hoc disciplinary committee of the party will not stand for upcoming regional council elections on the ticket of that party. We're definitely going to get Veronica Benyala's report before the end of this newscast or in a subsequent newscast. Over in Sangmelima, the CPDM party supporters are already bracing up for the regional elections come December 6, 2020. During the ceremony in Sangmelima, party supporters said they are ready to go by the vision of the party laid down by the leader, Paul Biya. Constantine Baum, tell us.
This come together of CPDM party members and sympathizers of Sang Malema Center is to evaluate the 2019 activities of the subsection, looking at how they can better function respecting norms of the party. The overall goal is to foster a vibrant membership and enable leaders defend public interest.
The first president of our 26th subsection here in Sang Malema. We are very glad vis-a-vis of the Central Committee of CPDM who has qualified here him to congratulate the good job who was done in Sang Malema Center.
The party achieved a lot politically as their president, Mathurin Germain Bindua, was elected MP for Jai Elobo 1. Cash prizes were awarded to students who performed well in 2019 to facilitate their preparation for the new school year. The subsection spent more than 5 million CFA francs as cash prizes to reward committed members for believing in the vision of the CPDM.
The fourth edition of the Employment Fair, organized by the National Employment Fund with support from other partners, has ended in Yaoundé with about 23 participants picking up jobs. On the jobs and opportunities made available at the fair, here is Joyce Tata.
Finding a job today could be challenging, but the offer is enormous, varying from one field to the other.
Technicians, commercials, who are really needed all these days. So from the job offer we have treated, you have those two type of job seeker field or competency who was really demanded during the job fair.
Getting to the right structure while searching for a job, experts keep reiterating, is key in producing more results.
When you are ill, you go to the hospital. As a job seeker, when you are looking for a job, the simple thing is to come and register to the National Employment Fund. You are going to be received, and by the end, you are going to get help. For a job seeker, getting help is to have a job.
The job fair, which registered about 250 visitors, is but a window to reduce the number of youths job seeking in Cameroon, which stands at 1 million. Statistics from the National Employment Fund. Youths in the country are, however, encouraged to dare while seeking.
Talking about the creation of jobs, money is no doubt key in starting any business, and thanks to the integrated project to support actors in the informal sectors, PRC, some Cameroonian entrepreneurs are making great strides. This is the story Gerard Nanji Eyambe tells us.
Philomene Ngono Ntomba has been the owner of this enterprise at the Kondenge neighborhood since 2008. This is a result of finance she obtained from PRC, the integrated project to support actors in the informal sector.
Thanks to them, I was able to buy these machines. I'm working hard to improve on the business.
Through her business, she makes ends meet and intends to further studies in this domain. Here in Essos, another entrepreneur, Desiree Pepga, has been manufacturing chalk for almost 20 years now.
This business has permitted me to create contact with buyers. I still face challenges in the business, though.
When we arrived in his workshop, the promoter of chalk Cameroon was about to deliver to one of his clients. Each day, he produces an average of 20 boxes.
I encourage other youth to come and make their dreams come true.
Philomene and Desiree Augustin were able to establish their businesses after participating in a trade fair organized by the Ministry of Employment and Vocational Training.
Some youths in Cameroon have been schooled on different ways of funding their projects. This was during the maiden edition of the Cameroon Youth Investment Forum in Yaoundé that brought together young entrepreneurs and potential investors. Here now is the event promoter Ernest Jonathan Ngako talking to our reporter Celestine Sandra Eyike.
The Cameroon Youth Investment Forum is simply a platform where we want to gather at the same time in entrepreneurs and investors. The aim is to bring them together and let them have access to opportunities, to finances, to help them develop their project. There's a real problem when talking about funding in Cameroon because first of all, it's not really known. It was capital for us to invite experts to come and tell us how to go through with with fundraising. There are a lot of interesting projects we've hosted today. We can talk about artificial breeder, so that helps people to breed artificially.
Over in the Northwest region, medals have been awarded to meritorious workers in that region. One of them, the resilient wife of a man who was brutally assassinated at the construction site of the military headquarters in Bamenda. During the ceremony, Governor Adolphe Lele-L'Afrique encouraged parents and students to take their back-to-school preparations seriously and confidently. Karen Tosam reports.
She is a mother of 3 and was separated by death from her husband, Chinda Dixon, since February 2020. He has been posthumously decorated with the Medal of Knight of the Order of Valor.
Thank you for the encouragement. My husband was my all and all. Since she died, I never know that the whole world is behind me.
The recipients of the medals say this will spur them to more action.
There's still a lot to do. You know that we're going back into 2020-21 academic year. And you know the challenges with the COVID. We still have to make sure that we implement the preventive measures.
I'm grateful to the President of the Republic who gave me the medal. He's asking me to go forward.
Northwest Governor Adolphe Lele-L'Afrique has exhorted them to work towards restoring normalcy and ensuring the effective start of classes for the new academic year.
The National Gendarmerie Road Safety Campaign has carried out the Bravo operation on the Yaoundé-Bolova-Saint-Melima axis to stop delinquent road users and also ensure that anti-COVID-19 measures are strictly respected on the highways. Kilian Difon was there and now reports.
Sensitization and education are top priorities on the National Gendarmerie Road Safety Campaign, but delinquent road users have a deterrent price to pay. Yaoundé Mbalmayo Bolova Saint-Melima Highway this weekend.
When we stop here, either you pay a man or we take the statement and transfer the procedure to the court.
The Monitor, Control and Punish Third Generation Task Force is also reinforcing anti-COVID-19 measures.
Some persons don't have this mask. Many people don't use it, but we are trying to sensibilize them to buy it and to continue to use it.
Make it right as you hit the major Cameroonian highways or face the National Gendarmerie Road Safety teams.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Let's talk about the fight against COVID in Cameroon. Health experts in the East region are carrying out massive COVID-19 screening and anti-COVID sensitization messages to halt the spread of the pandemic in the region with the largest surface area. For more on the work on the field, we go over to the Public Health Emergency Center to meet Baldwin Samam, who engages his guests, Dr. Anisette Mintop, East Regional Delegate of Public Health, on these issues. Hello, Baldwin.
Good evening to you, Benin, and welcome. Last month of July, the East region of the country was ranked on position number 4, talking about the regions highly hit as far as the spread of COVID-19 is concerned. What exactly is the situation presently? Our guest tonight is the East Regional Delegate of Public Health, Dr. Mintop. Mr. Regional Delegate, good evening.
Good evening.
Tell us, the East region of Cameroon is very vast in terms of our surface area. What strategies have you put in place in terms of trying to cover the entire region to limit the spread of COVID-19?
Okay, thank you very much. You are right. The East region is very vast. We have decentralized the management of COVID-19 according to the instruction given us by the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Manauda Malachi. Today, we, in our health district and health area, we are put in place the strategy we consider to track to test and to treat, and we do it with the consent of all the community and all the leaders who can help to do this massive campaign to depist the coronavirus, to fight against this pandemic.
And tell us, Mr. Regional Delegate, what are you doing to convince these Cameroonians in the East region of Cameroon to adhere to this massive testing that's ongoing?
Beside the mass sensitization, we equally carry out door-to-door and focus group discussion with the community health worker, the dialogue structure, and the religious leader. We also have the help of the administrative authorities and the mayor of the council. And for all these action, the population are there to do the test and to continue to respect the measure that the government prescribed. It is not easy, but we tried and we have a good result.
Thank you so much, Mr. Regional Delegate, for being our guest this evening. What we should mention this evening is that over 1,000 persons were tested positive for COVID-19 in the East region, with over 900 recoveries noticed so far, with 72 active cases that are existing in the East region of Cameroon. Back to you, Benin Bumagana.
Thank you very much, Baldwin Sama from Cayman. Come with me to the North region. The 65th Jubilee of the Garoua Archdiocese has ended on a positive note, with Catholic faithful encouraged to be promoters of peace and to work continuously for the growth of the church. The Archbishop of the Garoua Archdiocese made the call while officiating the closing mass in Garoua in the presence of the governor of the North region. Vanessa Woodnang Snamung reports.
They prayed, sang, and gave thanks to God Almighty alongside Christians of other communities for God's endless blessings and faithfulness since September 1955, when the Garoua Archdiocese was created.
I'm praying so that God will give us more life, more health, more abundant blessings.
The 65th anniversary was also a time of reflection on how to rekindle the flame of God's gift in Catholic Christians of the North.
Looking back in the past, we see how men and women, touched by the grace of Lord, opened their hearts and collaborated to the work of God. We have this mission, this duty to let this church move forward.
Blessings bestowed on couples who have been married for over 25 years, and the award of gifts to the best songwriters were some of the high moments of the closing mass of the 65th anniversary of the Garoua Archdiocese.
Let's go upper, that is, let's go higher to the far north. We now take you to discover one of the tourist attractions in Maroua, known as Bois de Cinquantenaire. This recreation site has abundant green space, a charming scenery, restaurants, and the city council is even planning to build a cinema hall there. Henry Tato Ekambi is our guide to the Bois de Cinquantenaire.
Its green space is abundant, the air fresh, and these intimate squares with spreading trees add to its heavenly look. This is the Bois de Cinquantenaire, a recreational site in Maroua that its visitors say inspires.
This is my first time to come here. Yes, this is very beautiful and very calm place.
This place is calm and has a good working climate.
COVID or no COVID, this urban green infrastructure still pulls many who now have to bend to the restrictions imposed by the virus.
This is a reference site that has a cinema and a beautiful ecosystem spread on 2 hectares. Even with COVID-19, people still visit Bois de Cinquantenaire.
The Maroua 1 municipality also has plans of adding a recreational park, a swimming pool and a zoo to this recreational site to make it more gorgeous and inviting.
Our artist of the week is a painter like no other. Ezekiel is hard of hearing and has speech impairment, but his art is his voice. With 20 years of career, the husband and father says he wants to start coaching others like him since he believes handicap may just be hiding a talent. Emanuela Vemnu reports.
He captures the form and colors of nature to reproduce them in his imaginary world. Ezekiel is deaf and hard of hearing and has lived in silence all his life. But his art is his voice.
He started learning through books and cartoons as God has shown him in the dream.
Born deaf and dumb, Ezekiel never went to school. He personally trained himself in painting, and 20 years have rolled by. With his tools, he represents the link between man and nature, love and music, among others.
He picked up a piece of paper and pencil and started drawing and drawing.
This husband and father speaks loud through his works, and his family his everyday inspiration.
He will draw and show to his mom to appreciate. All his children talks and yeah, but their mom is like the dad. However, communication is easy.
Ezekiel is ready to start coaching others, especially his kind. To him, a handicap may just be hiding a talent. He colors the goodness of life through his art.
Quite interesting. The mission of a West African peacekeeping force in Guinea-Bissau has come to the end after 8 years in the country. They were deployed by regional bloc ECOWAS in 2012 following a military coup against Prime Minister Carlos Gomez Jr. after a disputed presidential election. Larry Efande tells us more.
The authorities say Guinea-Bissau's armed forces will now take over to ensure order and stability in the country. The last time the military intervened in the political arena was in 2012 when the government of Carlos Gomez Jr. was overthrown between 2 rounds of presidential elections. Since then, ECOWAS has deployed an interposition force in the country. The withdrawal will be gradual. A first group has already left Bissau, consisting of 130 men, mainly from the Togolese Special Forces. The other ECOWAS troops, notably Nigerians, Senegalese and Burkinabe, will gradually leave by December 2020, handing over to the army. A fringe of the political class that does not trust its army, customary of violent political upheavals, has voiced concern. In the meantime, newly elected President Umaru Sissoko Embalo was confirmed on Monday by the country's Supreme Court following an appeal lodged by his opponents 8 months ago.
And let's talk about sports. Regional and national trainers of games for those with speech and hearing impairments have received training on how to take care of these athletes ahead of games like the Olympic Games. The training was organized by the Federation for Sports Athletes with Speech and Hearing Impairment in Yaoundé. It is with that we come to the end of this edition of the 7:30 News. The next edition of the news will be at 8:30 and will be presented by Atabadin Omar. Esther Kmer will be here tomorrow and Romeo Chisengok for the 8:30 newscast. I'll be back here next Friday. Have a wonderful evening.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing.
Parce qu'on reconnaît la belle journée dès le matin, Cameroun Feeling vous accompagne. Musique, découverte, un florilège.